My name is Harold Lane, somewhere in my late 60s, tucked away in a quiet Midwestern town where the days drift slowly and the evenings whisper memories. That morning felt like any other. I brewed tea, straightened the dining table the way my late wife once adored, and tried to soften the tiredness of my face with a hopeful smile. Maybe today would feel better. Maybe today wouldn't sting. Please like this video and listen to my story till the end, and let me know which city you're listening from. That way, I can see how far my story has traveled. I waited for the call, heart tapping gently inside my chest. When the screen lit up, my son Aaron appeared beside his wife Lena, both seated in their shining kitchen miles away from me. Aaron gave me that familiar grin, the one that used to light my world. Lena managed a thin nod, polite enough to be called kind, but empty enough to feel distant. We spoke about weather, recipes, work, and anything that avoided truth. I kept trying, laughing softly to make moments feel warmer, hoping for some spark of closeness. But she barely joined. Only when Aaron nudged her did words leave her lips. My heart quietly trembled. A few minutes later, Aaron stepped away to take a call. The room changed instantly. I could hear Lena's voice, low and sharp somewhere off camera. Each word fell heavy like cold rain. She said she couldn't stand me. Said she didn't want me visiting again. My chest tightened, breath slowing, eyes burning without letting tears fall. When Aaron returned, her tone sweetened again like nothing happened. Ha ha ha, how strange life can be. Laughing hurt sometimes. That evening, a message came from her number. Short, cold, call before visiting. No warmth, just a wall. I must have read it 10 times, each time heavier than the last. I sat in silence, my tea untouched, realizing something painful. I was slowly being erased from my own son's life. Have you ever felt unwanted in a place that once felt like home? If yes, keep listening, because what happens next changed everything. Because what I discovered later made me realize that this wasn't just distance. Something much darker was growing. But her stories didn't fit. Wrong vendor names. Strange payments. Trips that sounded more like luxury escapes. My heart began to ache with suspicion and sorrow. After my wife passed, Aaron was young and out building dreams far away. I told him to stay strong. Keep going. Live his life. Meanwhile, I buried my love alone. I held a collapsing business together alone. Nights were heavy, but I stayed silent so he wouldn't worry. Fathers do that. We break quietly. Years later when he brought Lena, she seemed warm, thoughtful, gentle eyes and polite laughter. But slowly warmth slipped away. Holidays disappeared. Phone calls shrank. Visits felt like I was bothering them. Awe. That sting of realizing you're becoming a visitor in your own child's world hurts deeper than words. Their home had pictures of everyone but me. Conversations circled around me, never toward me. She greeted me with courtesy sharp enough to cut. Step aside. Smile. Walk away. Leaving me in hallways that once felt like hope. My son answered me in short pieces, always glancing toward her as if she owned his words. That broke me quietly inside. She bragged often about her role at a massive construction company, spoke proudly, confidently. I smiled and listened. She didn't know I once built that company with my wife. She didn't know I stepped aside when grief swallowed me whole. She didn't know every wall of that place held my fingerprints. One late afternoon, I sat in my old truck, staring at the setting sun, feeling something off. Not just family tension. Something hidden. Something dangerous. If you're still here, your support means the world. What would you do if someone silently tried to erase you from your own child's life? Because what I did next uncovered secrets that shattered everything. That night, I called Marcus Hale, my most trusted old friend who helped me build that empire. My voice shook, but I kept steady. I asked him to quietly look into Lena's projects. No drama, just truth. He promised he would. Days later, I walked into the towering headquarters I once breathed life into. The building was taller now, colder, more polished. The receptionist greeted me like I was a stranger. That hurt. Ha ha ha. Funny how a place can forget the man who created it. pride mixed with loneliness in my chest. Marcus met me. His eyes told me everything before the words did. Trouble. We stepped into a conference room where Aaron sat confused, while Lena stood confident like she owned the world. When Marcus laid out the truth, the room fell into shock. Fake vendors, inflated payments, money slipping into shadows. Lena fought back with biting words, accusing me of jealousy, of trying to control their life. My heart hurt hearing Aaron's voice tremble as he asked what any of this had to do with him. My sweet boy, torn. I finally revealed it. I wasn't just a silent investor. I was the founder, the man who built the life they were all standing on. The shock in the room felt like thunder. Aaron's face broke. Lena went pale. Silence wrapped the room so tight it was hard to breathe. Would you have exposed the truth, even if it risked breaking your own child's heart? Because the truth didn't just expose her, it shattered my son's world. Aaron's eyes carried pain I never wanted to see. He asked me why I never told him, why I hid my legacy, why I stayed silent. My voice trembled, but I told him the truth. I wanted him to build life without my shadow, to love freely, to choose happiness without obligation. But sometimes love quietly becomes distance. The meeting ended in painful silence. People left without words. Lena's world collapsed that day, and my son's heart cracked with it. Days later, Aaron left their house, sent me a short message saying he needed time. I stared at that message for what felt like hours. My house felt colder than winter. Nights became quiet, weeping moments I never admitted to anyone. I wasn't sure if I saved him or broke him. Then one evening, an unexpected message appeared. It was from Lena. Her tone was softer, honest, fractured. She apologized, not in arrogance, but in pain. She spoke of her father, a controlling, cruel man who crushed her mother's world. She said she spent her life fighting parents, even the ones who weren't trying to harm her, and somehow she turned me into a shadow of her past instead of seeing who I truly was. And there I sat, tears finally falling. Not anger, just aching sadness. I wished healing for her, but I also knew boundaries were necessary. Kindness doesn't always mean returning to the fire. Sometimes forgiveness doesn't mean going back. What do you think? Should forgiveness mean reconnection? Because what happened next changed everything for me and my son. The days grew calmer, though my heart still waited for Aaron. I took long walks, talked to the wind, fought the loneliness. Then one morning, a soft knock on my door. My heart jumped like a child. I opened it. There he was, my boy, hands in his pockets, eyes tired, but softer than before. No speeches, no shouting, just quiet presence. And sometimes silence speaks louder than words. He finally said he was ready to talk. My heart almost burst. We sat at the same table where I once cried alone, and suddenly it didn't feel lonely anymore. He told me he needed time to understand everything. I told him I was always beside him, not above him, not controlling, just loving, just here. And in that quiet moment, I saw hope again. Not perfect, not fixed, but real, right at this moment. I want to ask you something important. Tell me in the comments. And if you've dealt with something similar, share your story. You're not alone. Subscribe for more stories about standing your ground and reclaiming your life. The house felt warmer that day. My heart felt lighter. Life does not always heal loudly. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it smiles softly through tired eyes. Sometimes it walks back home. And that day, my son walked home to me. If you felt this story even a little, stay connected. Your presence means more than you think. Because life isn't over, and neither is our journey.